Well, Sashay do Buckaroos and how they carry some issues getting this one going. Some technical, some personal. anyways, I digress. Bear with me just for a second while I try to get things straightened out here. Oh, mercy. What I've gone through to put this having some issues, man. There we go. Let me get that set up and go back over here to make sure everything's working over in this direction. And then you will have my undivided attention. Let's see. Just a little weird. I think it's probably as good as I'm going to get under the circumstances. Doesn't want to cooperate with me today, I guess. Anyways, how the heck are you? So I got a couple things with you. I'm gonna have the Boulevard. I got two Boulevard products. Let's say that. I've got two Boulevard products. I have their Baltic Porter that's barrel aged in red wine and bourbon barrels. This Baltic Porter goes out at 11.5%. And then I paired it with their wheat whiskey that was in conjunction with Foundry Distilling, their American malt whiskey distilled from unfiltered wheat mash. This is bottled and bond at 100 proof. An American malt whiskey. Let me show you that bottle there. The Bottle to Bond Act just tells you about the Bottle to Bond Act. We don't need to know that. We know that, don't we? Anyways, I digress. So I decided to pair both of these particular products together. What I've got here, though, you might notice I have this in a cordial glass. Oh God, that's amazing. The reason is, well, I'm not serving this whiskey neat. I'm not serving it on the rocks either. I'm having it straight up, which means I chilled it thoroughly and then I strained it into the glass here. Not neat, but not on the rocks either. I just wanted to put a little chill on. So I've had this whiskey on the, I've this whiskey neat, which I really enjoy it neat. But I want to just have it with a little chill to pair with this particular beer, a Baltic Porter. I do love me a Baltic Porter, man. Especially, oh my God, that's delicious. I forgot how wonderful this beer was. Especially one like this, that again is aged in red wine and bourbon barrels. So you definitely, well, you let me rephrase that. You would usually pick out fruit notes in a Baltic Porter, but then you add the addition of the red wine barrels, and that's going to take it in a direction. And then you then further add to it all by having it in bourbon barrels, which adds quite another layer and dimension to this particular beer. And what you have is just one amazing product. Uh, I was trying to set this up using my backdrops, but uh, I I uploaded some photos the other day that I used the other day, and then I went back to find them again, and they were gone. I can't figure out what happened. That I mean, the whole albums are missing, and I can't figure out what happened to. That's mostly because I am very technologically challenged. I'm sure there was a reason, but somehow it lost specific albums, and I can't figure out why it did. So I got a little frustrated there for a second because I was running a little late getting this to going. I was trying to line it up to get the pictures, and all of a sudden I had a gas attack that lasted probably 30 seconds. So it just was just this really long fart, man. And so holy crap, it's hard to come back from that. It's hard to get angry when you're farting. So I said, okay, take a breath. No, don't take a breath. You don't want to breathe any of that in. It was wicked, man. I'm not sure what happened there, but nevertheless, anyway, it allowed me to regain my focus, oddly enough, and set this video up because I was getting upset that I couldn't find those photos. But once that happened, I said, oh, screw it. Never mind. I did have some Mexican food for lunch, though, so that might be what's affecting me. I don't know. My wife says it could be the beer. That's quite possible, too. But nevertheless, man, it was like never ending. Oh, it was okay. Is it going to stop now? I don't know how long it lasts. I wasn't timing it, but it felt like it was a good 20, 30 seconds at least. Just started out and we kept going. It got louder, it got softer, it got louder again. Yeah, it was changing too. Then we're warming up the whole brass band there for a second. But holy crap, I can't control this. I don't know what's happening. But then it made me laugh. I started laughing, and that seemed to make me want to fart more. And the more I laughed, the more I farted. The more I farted, the more I laughed. It was like never ending. It's like landing in the twilight zone for a second there. Then it was gone. But just seemed like it lasted longer than it probably only lasted about 10 seconds top in, but it felt like it was a good 30 at least. Anyways, I digress. It just kept going. Holy crap. Oh, well, I hope not. I didn't have to go check myself just to make sure, but I was good. But nevertheless, it seemed like, oh, mercy, this isn't good. And I'm wondering if my wife is going to pass out from the fumes because it was brutal, man. It was wicked, man. If we had a canary, it would have died. That canary in a coal mine would have been gone and dead, man. Anyway, that canary in a coal mine. Oh my god. Not where that reference came from, but yeah, if we had a canary in the house, they would have been good and dead, man. Would have been dead. Everybody get out of the house now. Bad things are about to happen to everybody. Anyways, anyways, try to be serious for a second time if you can. I'm not sure I can at this point. Um, I'm not sure I can bring it back. Boulevard Baltic Porter, Asia red wine in bourbon barrels. I bought this. It was part of a mixed pack. There was two bottles of each of three flavors, and quite frankly, the other two flavors didn't impress me as far as buying them. I did enjoy them once I had them, but however, the reason I bought the six pack was for this beer because the idea of a barrel aged red wine and bourbon barrel aged Baltic porter, yeah, it was worth it. Even though because the other two were kind of, one was like a carrot cake this, carrot cake Belgian, the other one was like a chai tea, and I wasn't excited about either of those. Although I will tell you, I enjoyed both of them. But the reason I bought the six pack was because it had a barrel aged Baltic porter was the only reason. Because the other two seemed to be why were the But this one made sense to me. Hey, well, I have a Baltic Porter. I'm going to try to age it in some red wine barrels and some bourbon barrels. That makes sense to me. But why would you do a carrot cake Belgian double? I have no idea why that would even. Regardless, that beer was outstanding as well. But again, the reason I bought the 6 pack was for the Baltic. And it was absolutely brilliant. This beer is just insanely good. Yeah, because you don't typically expect to taste fruit notes from a Baltic porter, right? You've got these big malt notes, but you've got those red wine barrels that's going to give you a few things, and it's really up between you and your taster, to be honest. For me, I'm picking up some very dark, almost overripe plum. I'm picking up some very dark cherry notes, some raisin probably, but if you're more familiar with certain dark fruits than I am, like fig or date, you might taste that as well. Like I tell folks, you're only going to taste what you know. This whiskey is amazing. Yeah, this I only bought it, in all honesty, as much as I love Boulevard products. I only bought it because my local store had it on sale. Again, it's a collaboration of Boulevard and Foundry Distilling, which I found a little interesting. The Brewery Distiller Alliance series. I'm just kind of curious why they didn't align with a local distillery, because Kansas City has several, but nevertheless, distilled from unfiltered wheat mash at 100 proof. This stuff is just gorgeous, man. It is absolutely brilliant. Nice and soft, a little bit sweet up front, but not so much where it's going to leave it cloyingly in the finish. Again, fruit notes, and it might be because I've just had this beer, but I feel like I'm picking up some raisin notes in here. But other than that, yes, it's not as sweet as you might expect it to be. Very clean, a drier finish than you might expect. It's just delicious, man. But then when you do these pairings, one thing is going to affect the next. So what you taste from one sip to the next may be just a tad different from the one before. So, Baltic Porter from Boulevard. This beer is absolutely amazing. I'm a big fan. If there are sometimes I wish I didn't have the conscience that I have, or I would have went back to that store directly and bought another 6 pack, but I would have taken the other beers out and made myself a 6 pack of Baltic Porter and bought it without anybody knowing. But my guilt wouldn't have let me got away with that. But that's what I would have liked to do. However, having said that, having tried those other beers, they are certainly worth picking up the 6 pack for. I will tell you that the Baltic Porter was my favorite of the three, but the other two surprised me as well. So there you go. I'm going to set this down and I'm going to focus on this whiskey for a second. As far as this whiskey is concerned, again, I only bought it because it was at a drastic sale price, or I wouldn't have bought it in the first place. But now that I know what it is, what it's like, it is worth whatever. If you picked up a bottle, if you have the opportunity to get a bottle, it is worth it. It is just an amazingly put together American malt whiskey. So there you go. Anyways, anyways, I digress. I am Tom the Beer and Whiskey Whisperer. We're gonna just gonna skip to the